everyone. I am Titia Owens, the Madre.
And I'm Chyna Elizabeth, the daughter. Welcome back to the show.
Welcome to the OK Den Show.
Yes.
And I am holding this book up today. This is the book that I wrote. I am the author of How to Get Rid of a Man.
Yes, ma'am.
By Letitia Owens. That would be me.
That's it.
And you can get this book at barnesandnoble.com. But we're going to be talking about today cheating and infidelity.
Cheating and infidelity.
Yes.
Now, them some hard topics.
They real hard.
Uh-huh.
And they can get you in a lot of trouble.
Ooh.
And so I wrote a book about an experience that I had. And I had an experience with cheating and infidelity. And so there's a chapter in the book called Vengeance is Mine. I think it's chapter 6.
Chapter 6.
Chapter 6 is titled Vengeance is Mine. And the reason why is because I retaliated on my children's father, being that I heard he was planning cheating on me. And so I therefore cheated on him. And so we're going to talk about that today. We'll talk about the book some, but we're going to just talk about the consequences of these things, okay? And like I said, you can get the book at barnesandnoble.com. Just look for How to Get Rid of a Man. That's the name of the book, How to Get Rid of a Man. And let's just go right into it.
Let's get into it.
So I'm going to tell you the definition that I had for cheating. And the definition of cheating is simply this. It's cheating in a romantic relationship that involves any deliberate breach of trust that goes against the mutually agreed upon boundaries of the relationship. Okay? So that means crossing the line that you know good and well we're not supposed to be crossing.
Period.
That's what that means.
Period.
This can include physical intimacy with someone outside the relationship, emotional connection, or even engaging in deceitful behaviors.
Ooh.
And then, deceit just simply means omitting the truth.
Yeah.
Okay? And the thing about it is when it comes to cheating, and there are various ways of cheating, but we're talking about in a relationship, because I also was a cheater when I was in school. When I was in school.
Weren't we all?
Yeah. I can't speak for everybody.
She was a cheater, but she was like a superior cheater.
Yeah, I was on another level. I was like platinum cheater when it came to schoolwork. I had a friend, Olivia. She's been on one of our shows. She and I were in algebra class together. And I knew nothing, absolutely nothing about algebra. And she was very smart in algebra. So I always made sure that my seat was in near proximity to her so I could see her paper.
Yeah.
As she could even be across the room and I could still see her paper because I was so good at cheating. That's all I was saying. I'm not proud of that, but I'm just letting you know.
That's what happened.
That started my career in cheating.
That's funny.
I said career.
That's funny.
Oh, but I have been retired from cheating. Yes, I have. I've been completely retired from that. And so now I have a different life. But let me say this about cheating. When I was with my children's father, we were married and we had made commitments to spend our lives together and to be faithful to one another. I'm going to say that because I became married, it did not get rid of those fleshly desires to cheat or cross lines or have any type of boundary whatsoever. So some people think that when I get married, all this is going to stop and it's going to go away.
Yeah.
That is not how that works.
So true.
So I just want to make sure I say that up front, that I thought that once I said I do and we were married, that would kill any form of infidelity or cheating, but it didn't do that.
Yeah.
So I will say now, being married for the second time with my husband, I have realized it is my commitment to Christ that keeps me from cheating, period. It had nothing to do with anything else. It is my love for the Lord. I tell my husband this all the time. It has nothing to do with him. I love my husband.
Yeah.
But I love Christ so much more.
Yeah.
I don't want to disappoint the Lord.
Yeah.
And I care about the consequences of sin, where I was still not fearful of the consequences in the past. So that allowed me to cheat.
Yeah.
It's because I wasn't concerned about what could happen at the time. Now I am very concerned about that. Now that is on my mind, and I care about how the Lord sees me. So that has been the commitment for me now. It's just my focus and my relationship with Christ. So I wanted to say that up front.
Yeah, that's so good.
So I'll give you a little back history. So when I was married to their father, I overheard a conversation he was having with one of his friends that were basketball players. My former husband played professional basketball, and he was going overseas to play basketball in a different area. And one of his basketball teammates called him to let him know that the women were waiting for him. And at the time, we were on a house phone. He didn't know I had answered the phone at the same time. Yeah, I had answered the phone at the same time, and I overheard the conversation, and I heard my children's father get so excited about these other women and how he was planning to go and basically submit to their request. In other words, he had his mind made up that he was going to go have some fun and some fellowship, crossing the lines of the boundaries within our marriage. And so when I became aware of that, because of where I was, vengeance set up in my heart. My mindset was, I'm going to get him.
Yeah.
I'm going to get him before he gets me, or I'm going to get him at the same time. And that meant me cheating on him. So I put myself in a position to cheat on my children's father because I heard him planning cheating, which he did go through with it. He did. He ended up telling me about it after the fact. But we were both young and immature and did not understand the word commitment. I can say that now. The word commitment didn't really have an impact in my life. Commitment, loyalty, not in a marital relationship. Now, I was committed and loyal to my friends,
Right.
but I wasn't like that with my husband.
Yeah.
And so it ended up being that it caused a lot of hurt. It caused a lot of pain. I ended up confessing that to my children's father, and it was very hurtful to him. And when I saw his reaction to that, it devastated me. But to even share how I got there in the first place, not just the phone call that I heard, I felt like he was not seeing about my needs. He was not concerned about how I was doing and what was going on with me. He was very focused on his world and what he had going on, totally not even ignoring, but that was not a focus at all. That was not even, it was just neglecting the whole thought process that I need to be concerned about her and I need to see about her. We were newly married.
Yeah.
But because, again, of our immaturity and where we were not clear on what it even meant for us to be together and be committed to one another.
Yeah, I don't even know what that looked like.
No, not at all.
Wow.
So the cheating happened. The pain was birthed from that. We were both in a lot of hurt. I was hurt that I hurt him. I was devastated by that. He was devastated by me doing it to him. And again, this is what I've also learned with men. Men, although they cheat, they don't always have the emotional connection that they feel a woman has.
Yeah.
They feel a woman has. They automatically feel that when a woman cheats,
it's different. It's deeper.
That she has an emotional connection with who she cheats with. I can testify that is not the case with every woman. I'm going to say for me, where I was with the man that I cheated with, I was not emotionally connected to him at the time. I felt that he was being used to create the vengeance that I was carrying out. That was it.
Yeah.
Once that act took place, I didn't have anything else to do with that young man. I hate that now. I hate I put him in that position.
Right.
But that is what I did. I had no emotional tie to him whatsoever.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be with him anymore. I just wanted to hurt my children's father.
Yeah.
And I carried that out. So I must say to any man that is watching also, women are not emotionally connected to every man that they sleep with. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't leave a piece of themselves behind, because it's like a tattoo. We automatically want to fight with someone, whether we want to or not. So even though I didn't want to be with him emotionally, I left some of me there because I was dealing with a lot of pain and rejection, and I felt somewhat abandoned. And so, even with that, I left some of that with that young man because that was what I was carrying
Yeah, yeah.
at that time. And we have a tendency not to think about those things that we're planting seeds when we become one with someone, whether we're married to them or not. We give our spirit to them, we give off what we're carrying to them. And that's why when you're married to someone and you become one with them, it's so amazing because you are giving those things to that other person. And it can be positive or negative, but you're still doing it. You're still marrying the two together, and they're giving you theirs and you're giving yours.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's one part of it. And then there's the I'm going to say this about infidelity. This is what I'm learning about it. That infidelity is unfortunately quite common in today's society. I mean, people don't even care about infidelity anymore. It's just not a thing to even be upset about, which I don't understand. And it's saying that studies have shown that a significant percentage of couples experience some form of infidelity during their relationship. And it can affect people of all ages and backgrounds. So it doesn't matter how young you are, it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter your status in life. When someone is cheating, whether you're the cheater or someone has cheated on you, the pain is terrible when you are believing in this person and you trust that they have you and they just want you. So to find out that that line has been crossed, it causes so much pain.
Yeah, for me, cheating and infidelity, that is the deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
Once you do that, my trust is already gone. Even if I feel like something is going on, you don't even got to go the whole mile, but just a text or you giving somebody too much attention, it's literally those boundaries. If you know you wouldn't be okay with doing this in front of me or having this conversation with me in the room or anything like that where you know I would not be happy about it, there's nothing else to talk about. Because you know and you're intentionally doing things. My thing is too, those things are intentional. You have a choice.
You do have a choice.
And it's either you do it or you don't. It's not like it's a hard decision. Now there is temptation. There are things that can put you with peer pressure and all of those things. I get it. But at the end of the day, you are your own self.
You can still say no.
You can still say no. And if you choose to say yes, you chose to say goodbye.
Well,
okay.
Adios.
Okay. Because I feel like as soon as I lose trust, the relationship is tarnished. Like, I just can't. I'm not the same. I can't even act the same in a relationship once I know those boundaries have been crossed.
And that's the thing. When a person knows that that's a deal breaker for you, I mean, and that's the thing. It's a mutually discussed boundary that we know that this is something that we're not doing. And like you said, when you know it's a position you're putting yourself in to make your mate uncomfortable, you know that it's not something you would be okay with if they were doing it, whether it be phone calls, whether it be text messages, whether it be Zoom connections, or having a quick lunch break.
Anything.
All those small details, you know, connecting with friends that your mate knows nothing about. You've never spoken about this person before, but all of a sudden you're spending time with them and we don't know about that. That's a problem.
And also omitting.
Leaving the details out.
Leaving the details out. If somebody else crosses the line towards you, I need to know.
So you're saying if you were seeing someone, and you all were in a committed relationship, and someone that they know crosses the line with your mate, but they don't tell you.
Why?
Why are you not telling us?
Why are you not telling me?
What's the secret?
I don't care if it's going to hurt my feelings. I don't care if I'm going to feel some type of way. I feel like it is respectful to our relationship and the growth that we're trying to build to keep building that trust. I would trust you more if you're honest.
That's all I'm saying.
And open. Let me know so I can decide how I want to feel, opposed to me finding out and then I'm mad at you because you didn't tell me when it could have just been a conversation.
Hashtag tell me.
Tell me.
Honor me.
Honor me in our relationship.
Well, that's all we're saying.
That's it.
Period.
That's not on that. Okay.
I love it.
It's hard, but I mean that's a part of relationships.
But that's what makes the relationship so great.
Yeah.
Is you feel the need that you want to share this with the person that you're with because you love them so much, you care about them so much, you respect the relationship, and honor the relationship to the degree that you want to protect it.
Exactly.
That's the key. You want to protect all this good that's happening right here. I care about it so much that I want to honor it. And a lot of times, too, we have to really be careful. We really do have to be careful because it's small things that turn into bigger things. Just like when you light a match, it's a small fire at first, but you know, as it keeps burning,
you're feeding into it.
It grows, it enlarges, you know, and then it spreads the territory and it starts to damage other things around it. So you have to put that fire out
as soon as possible. ASAP.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
You was on the same page with me.
Period.
So let me tell you common reasons people cheat. These are supposedly common reasons. So some do out of dissatisfaction or unmet needs within their current relationship. While others may be seeking excitement. Emotional disconnection, revenge, as I said, or even peer pressure can also contribute to infidelity.
Yeah.
What do you want to speak to that?
I remember in my past days. This was a very, very young relationship. It wasn't even a relationship for real. We was just being kids.
Okay.
But I found that he was cheating. I said, oh, okay. Cool. You don't gotta tell me twice. We was having a cheating war. What we gonna do? You wanna cheat? I can cheat too. You ain't gonna like it as much. Now, mind you, I was real young and immature and didn't really care. It was just being a child. But I was like, hey, we finna get some revenge going back and forth. When I say we went back and forth, like who gonna cheat better than the other?
Oh my God.
It was real bad. Real bad.
And what was that outcome?
We are no longer together. I don't even know where he is in life. It wasn't good. We had a lot of public at school. Everybody at school knew.
That's so crazy.
We was crazy. And it was always something going on back and forth. We arguing or something. It was real toxic.
That's called young-osity.
Yeah, it was a lot of that. It was a lot of that. But
you moved on.
We moved on from those days.
And that's the blessing.
Hallelujah.
And you learned from it too.
For sure.
It also taught you
for sure
how that felt. And like you said, now it's a deal breaker for you.
Yeah. I'm at a place, I just don't have to deal with it. Like you said, like I said, once you get to an mature age, you just realize that it really just is a choice. And self-discipline and controlling your emotions. Even if you are tempted, that's not the sin, it's the act.
There you go.
You can look at somebody and think they're attractive, cool. It's a lot of attractive people out here.
Yeah.
But it's really the act of you entertaining it and going that step, going over that boundary, going over that line, knowing that you need to stay over there.
Well, sit on down.
Sit on down.
Well.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, too. So when someone is dissatisfied, I understand that process. There still has to be great communication.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, too, about knowing who you're getting with. Knowing the person, their character, their integrity, what something means to them. Like, I'll even say when I was with your father, I don't even know if I knew who I was with my integrity, what my character was. To think back that I was willing to put myself in that position. And again, it comes with maturity. I was immature at the time. I wasn't growing. I wasn't strong in the Lord. I knew of the Lord, but I hadn't put myself in a position where I was surrendered to the Lord, that I wanted to follow his ways, and I wanted to just please him. I wasn't there yet. And so I still had my own thoughts, my own will, and my own way. And that will get you in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see it at the time because I was just committed to doing what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. You have to know your level of commitment before you get married, before you get in these committed relationships, because you will hurt a person so drastically going into a relationship, not being concerned about the consequences of the act. I think we always think about the feel good part, the act of doing what we do that's crossing the lines, that's bringing us joy, but we don't go past what is this going to do to the person that I'm with. We don't go further down the road and see, how am I going to make this person feel? What is this going to do to our relationship? What is it going to do with our trust issue or concern or factor? How do we now communicate where I can believe the person, or this person takes me serious, or there's not always this haunting thought process, they're deceiving me?
Yeah. So what got you to the place of you wanting to tell the person that you cheated? Because I feel like that's a hard thing for people too. They like to cover it up and just keep it to themselves when it happens until it's exposed.
Yeah.
But you decided
to tell
him.
Yeah,
I don't think, I'm not gonna say I'm never gonna do anything, because you just never know.
Right.
But prayerfully, if I stay in Christ, I will never cheat again in my life. And if I did, I don't think I would have the courage to tell the person that I cheated on them. So how did you get there?
Well, I'll say for me, I didn't have the courage, but the Christ in me did.
Yeah.
The Christ in me had the courage because the Lord dealt with me about the sinful act that I had committed. And thank you for sharing that word. I needed it. I would have never done that on my own. I would not have done that, just because the flesh always wants to keep the lie going.
Ooh,
or
you're right.
hide the secret, But
Right.
the Lord in me, the God in me, the Jesus in me said to me, you're going to tell him. And not only are you going to tell him, you're going to write a book about it.
Ooh.
You're going to tell others what you did. You're going to expose it, because I want people to not only hear what you did, but I want them to hear the consequences of what you did. And this is my discipline because you disobeyed me. And so, again, when a child is rebelling against their mother or father, they don't always think about the whooping that might be waiting for them.
Or when it's coming.
Oh, yeah. Or whatever the consequence is.
Yeah.
But we know if our parents are disciplinarians, we're like, oh, I'm going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I felt with the Lord. I heard the Lord clearly tell me to express what I had done and to share it, not just with him, but with this book.
Yeah.
And I have done that. And I feel free about it now. And that's why I am committed to talking about it, sharing about it, talking about the consequences of it, the effects of it. It's because it was so painful. It was so painful. Like I said, it wasn't just painful for him. Like, I saw his devastation when I told him. I saw how he couldn't believe that I had done that. It didn't make any sense why I had done it to him. In his mind, it didn't make sense. But for me, it made all the sense in the world, because I was getting him back. Yeah. It made all the sense in the world because I felt like I was doing something for me that was going to satisfy me, that was going to make me feel better, that was going to make me forget about the pain of me hearing he was going to be with someone else. It did none of that. It didn't make me feel better. It didn't cause me to feel any sense of relief. None of that. It was nothing but pain, guilt, suffering, just major consequences one after the other, because not only did I have to wrap my mind around telling him, when I told him, I had hurt him so much. And that devastated me. It devastated me to know that I put somebody in that position. And I could say I was sorry a million times. It wasn't going to take away the pain they felt of knowing that I had been with someone else and that I had crossed the line in my marriage. So we're trying to warn you all, this is not the way to go.
It is not.
Don't go down Avenue Cheat or for the Infidelity Road. Don't do it. No, it's not worth it.
It causes a lot of damage, and it's hard to come back from that. It's like you have to work 10 times harder to earn that trust. So it's better to just keep the trust that you've already built when you started your relationship and you got to the place where you could trust one another and you could be free in your communication and choose to be there for them. So don't choose to not.
Well, and speaking of that, so let's talk about warning signs of infidelity. So the warning signs of infidelity may include sudden changes in behavior or routine, secrecy about phone or online activities, emotional distance, or a decrease in intimacy. Trust your instincts, ladies and gentlemen. Trust your instincts and communicate openly if you notice these signs. So the thing about me, I can't speak for other people. If I was going to cheat, you were not going to know about it.
Okay.
I was not going to change anything about my character. I was not going to change anything about my comings and goings. Everything was going to remain the exact same. And the Lord knew that I was that diabolical. I was diabolical to create scenarios where they appeared one way, but I was doing something totally different.
Hashtag diabolical.
Hey, that's what it was. When you know your strength, my strength was deceiving my husband.
Yeah.
Because that was my way of getting him back. And again, I had been a cheater in school. So even though that sounds funny or might be something light, it was building something inside of me that caused me to be able to get away with things. It was the act of getting away with something.
Yeah.
I don't value that. I don't value getting away with something anymore. That was something I valued at the time. Now it's a negative to me. It's nothing that I'm proud of. But it did happen. And so I would encourage you, you know, if you are having any type of dissatisfaction or whatever it is you're going through, talk about it. Talk to someone about it. Even if you're not ready to talk to your mate, talk to someone. Get some accountability and some assistance from someone who is going to speak honesty to you, to tell you the consequences and to warn you.
I would say too, though, men do not have that that gift of keeping everything the same. I feel like women have a great intuitive spirit, that discernment. We pay attention to the details.
Yes, we do.
So we know everything that changes.
We do.
For me, if you're not talking as much, if you don't want to be around me as much, you're trying to be with your friends all the time, you all of a sudden got to do more work or something like that, some may not know.
Yeah, when that wasn't the case.
Exactly. In the beginning, it was all good. Goody two shoes. And then things just start popping up. You don't want to talk no more. You don't want to be around no more. What's going on? What's taking up that space?
When you hanging out?
You know what I'm saying? So men, they ain't good at it.
They're really not.
They make it very, very clear on what's going on. And we know. We're not dumb.
Yeah. We feel things too.
Exactly.
Yeah, we can feel a change in the atmosphere, the temperature. Things just feel different. And when it starts to look different, act different, it's something going on.
Something. And we gonna find out.
Yeah, we become private investigators at that point.
Ooh, I promise you I can have a job now.
That's all I'm saying.
I can have a job.
Oh, we're gonna get to the bottom of it.
I be finding out. Doing it for my friends too. What we need to know.
Who do we need to follow?
Okay, because we gonna find out.
And that is the thing. When you put yourself in this situation, or you know someone is putting you in this situation, you are going to act outside of yourself to get to the bottom of it. especially when you love somebody.
Yeah.
You know, people talk about somebody being crazy. Yeah, I am crazy. I'm crazy about my husband right now. I wish I would think that something was going on or feeling different or acting different. And I have told my husband is you do not want to see me act a fool.
Don't play.
Because I love my husband that much. I care about him that much. And that was what I didn't do. I want to say this, ladies. I did not do that in my marriage with my children's father. I didn't show him that I was crazy about him. I didn't show him that I would act a fool over him. Now, I did know that I would, but I was thinking, why would you put me in that position? Why would you cause me to make me act like that? I had more of that mindset, and so we never even talked about it. He never even felt like I would protect our relationship, or I cared enough that even if I saw somebody trying to necessarily cross a line with him, that I would do something about it. And that bothered him. He told me later on that it bothered him that I didn't make him feel like I even cared if somebody was looking, not necessarily just looking at him, but putting him in a position that was discomforting, where they may cause him to feel like they were crossing the line.
It was pursuing him in any way.
Yeah, I was ignoring it or going, oh, that ain't nothing. That's how I was looking at it. But he didn't like that at all.
Yeah, they need you to feel like, don't play.
Yeah, and I'm like that now.
Yeah.
I learned from that situation, and I don't play about my husband. The husband that I have now, I adore my husband, and he knows that if any woman or any person tried to cross the line with him and I know about it, or I see it, or I find out about it, it's going to be some tables flipped.
Okay.
Because I will act a fool in love over my husband.
Yeah, and I'm very territorial.
Yeah.
I don't like sharing.
Yeah.
So if you're mine, if we're in a committed relationship, if we've made that clear, we're exclusive. It's just me.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
Not happening.
It's just not happening.
Wannery.
One.
United up here.
Exactly. Love it.
So another thing I want to talk about is technology's impact.
Ooh, in today's world.
Yeah. So technology has made it easier for people to connect with others outside of their relationships. Social media and dating apps can provide opportunities for temptation.
Yeah.
But they are not the root cause of infidelity. Open communication and trust remain essential. Open communication and trust remain essential. So if you don't have that, again, being able to tell somebody, yes, I spoke to this person, or my ex called me.
Yep.
Or
this girl DM'd me. She's trying to talk to me.
Yeah, I got a text message from a guy I dated in high school, or I sent a text message saying happy birthday or whatever.
Ooh.
Because again, when there is trust there, when you tell that mate, it shouldn't be a thing, because they know that it's nothing.
Exactly.
And that's the thing, you want to have that open communication. We're not telling you to have open relationships.
Right.
We're saying to have open communication.
For sure.
In other words, you know that if I'm telling you this, there's nothing to be concerned about.
Because if you hiding it, what you hiding it for?
Why you hiding?
It sounds like something else going on.
Why you don't want me to know?
You don't like it.
It don't line up.
I don't like it.
And like I just said, social media.
It's become a lot.
It's so much on these pages. You can scroll up and see all kind of things. You can see very attractive women. You can see very attractive men, or different photographs or images of things that cause you to go, ooh, oh wow.
Yeah, and it's a lot of I feel like too, it's so accessible, but at the same time I feel like it's giving people this thought process that they're missing out on something. And I live by that 80-20 rule.
Well,
if I have 80 and they got 20, I'm good with that 80.
Well,
I'm not going to be out here searching for that 20 and they don't have that 80.
Well, we need that 80.
Okay, I would love to find somebody with a whole 100, but that's rare. It's kind of rare. But still, it's really deceiving on Instagram when you see all the good of somebody, but you don't see them for who they actually are. And it looks really nice on Instagram and on all these other social medias, but at the end of the day, who you're with, you're seeing all of them. Yeah. So accept that, live with it, and stop trying to think that you're missing out on something.
Well, stop thinking that. That's a deceptive thought. It's a lie being replayed in your mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the next thing I want to talk about is common misconceptions. Common misconceptions. One common misconception is that cheating is always about physical intimacy. Emotional infidelity, such as forming a deep emotional connection with someone else, can be just as damaging. It's also a misconception that infidelity always leads to the end of a relationship. Some couples do successfully overcome it.
That's so true.
Some of them do. But going back to the emotional infidelity, when you find yourself, so that show Love is Blind.
Ooh.
Now, it is not, the show is about two people meeting one another. This Love is Blind show. Two people meeting each other in these pods. They never see each other, but they become emotionally attached just by the conversation that they're having. The constant sharing of their past, the vulnerable communications that are happening. So they literally find love blindly. And I'm saying that's the same way it can happen in an emotional infidelity experience. You can talk to a person, listen to a person so much, or get so vulnerable with another person, you can find yourself thinking about them all the time, or wanting to just be in their presence or get away to talk to them. That is still a form of cheating.
Yeah. That's why I don't like them outside friends. Once you cross them boundaries and y'all talking a little too much, y'all talking after hours, y'all having too long of conversations, y'all spending too much time one-on-one, something gotta change. Yeah, because it can happen. And sometimes you don't even expect it. It kind of just happens, and life happens or whatever, but there's ways you can avoid it. Once you start to feel something coming on, that's when you need to have self-discipline in yourself to remove yourself from that situation so that it doesn't go any further than it has to go.
Yeah, that's good, Chyna. And that's the thing about it is when you have an opposite sex relationship, it is knowing that there are boundaries.
Yeah.
And once you know that those boundaries are established, it's easy to stay within those boundaries. As long as you are focusing. And the thing about it is, like I said from the beginning, where you are spiritually.
Yep.
If you know where you are spiritually, and you know, and it's not trusting in yourself, it's just knowing who Christ is and the power that he has within you. It can keep you from crossing those lines.
Exactly.
I can attest that I have had friendships with men for years, and I've never even considered crossing the line or thinking outside of the relationship that we have, just because I genuinely know where we are spiritually. I genuinely know my commitment to my husband, and then the relationship that I have with Christ.
Yeah.
All those things cause me to not be strong in myself, but to be strong in the Lord, because I have to keep that focus, just to make sure too that I honor the relationships. I honor the people that I'm around, and I do care about consequences. So if you're always keeping those things before you, and keeping the Lord before you, and what the Lord says about it or how he feels about it, you can be victorious. But you have to desire, first of all, to even do those things.
Exactly. Because it can be real easy to fall into that temptation if you don't have Christ. So, you're right.
And like I said, some couples do successfully overcome it, but it has to be a strong rebuilding of trust, a very strong bond of talking, a very strong commitment to going through the processes of talking about those mistakes as much as it needs to happen for that other person to be set free.
Yeah.
A lot of times when people cheat, they don't want to talk about it. They just want to move on.
Exactly. You have to be okay with having those conversations. You did it.
Yeah.
So now you're in those circumstances of having to deal with it.
Yeah. and the consequences of it.
Exactly. People be wanting to avoid it once it happens because they talked about it or something. Like, no, y'all gotta rebuild and really get through that process and allow your partner to deal with those emotions and to grieve it and to let it go and to go through the process of rebuilding that trust.
And it has to be consistent.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just be saying, you can trust me, but you're still doing some of those same demonstrations that you were doing in the past that caused me to know that you were cheating. So you have to change your thought processes, and you have to make a very strong sacrifices sometimes, because again, it's about showing the person that you are willing to make these kinds of sacrifices and commitments to them to rebuild the trust.
Yeah.
And that's what love does. If you know what you did was wrong and that you are genuinely sorrowful and are repentant of the situation, you want to turn away from that wholeheartedly, then you have to do the work. And that is a process. Sometimes that means therapy, talking to a counselor, or talking to others that you all can talk through it about, so you both can get those emotions out, how it got there in the first place, how we can prevent it in the future. Those conversations need to take place, and building the trust again.
So true.
And then, forgiveness and reconciliation is a huge part of it. Forgiveness, if you're going to rebuild trust, you have to wrap your mind around forgiveness. And it's a personal choice. Couples should seek professional help, I always say, if they decide to work through it. And then it's a challenging journey, but it is possible to rebuild a stronger relationship, but it takes a lot of work.
Yeah, and if you choose to forgive, truly forgive. Once you forgive, you can't be bringing it up and trying to throw it in your partner's face and just keep reliving that moment. If you choose to forgive, truly forgive and let it go and move forward and try to make a new relationship out of the scenario.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's very smart. And another thing is preventing cheating. So prevention involves maintaining a strong emotional connection. It fosters trust and being attentive to your partner's needs and concerns. Regularly checking in with each other and addressing issues promptly, immediately, can help prevent infidelity.
So true.
It can help it. Now, again, we're not saying that this is the only way, because some people are, like I said, if they're not at a place where they understand commitment and their relationship with Christ doesn't exist, they can still have these things and cross lines, because all it takes is one instance of you taking your eyes off the Lord.
For sure.
And you can find yourself in a situation that you're like, ooh, I've gone way too far.
For sure. You're totally correct. Christ is definitely the first thing that will keep it all together. But I also do agree with the check-ins. In my past relationship, we would do like every month, do a check-in. How are we feeling about each other? What do we want to change? How are we improving? What is it that we're not liking that we're doing? And just trying to help better grow the relationship and just really understanding what your partner needs and doing that in any way that you can.
I agree with that. I always feel like when there's set aside time to talk about a relationship, like you were saying once a month, I actually prefer weekly. That we have those conversations, but it's whatever you choose. It's whatever that works for your relationship.
For sure.
But I feel like if the person is making that commitment to sit and talk with you and to find out how you're doing and not be afraid of the positives and negatives, they're showing you that they're concerned about the relationship, that it matters to them, and they want to see the relationship grow. When you're married to somebody, again, you pray that the communication evolves. You want to be that close friend to the mate that you're with, but you got to have those hard conversations. You have to be able to say what you're not comfortable with, or the things I liked in the beginning I don't necessarily like anymore. I've evolved to this new way of doing things, or I want to try this now, or I don't want to do this anymore. And we have to be open, because that's the whole point of evolving in a relationship, and it builds a stronger bond when you know that you can talk to your mates about positives and negatives, and know that not necessarily that you're not judged,
Yes, a safe space.
Yeah, you want to have a safe space and to be able to know that they are genuinely just concerned.
Yeah.
You know, we don't always like to hear the negatives, but this is what I know about my mate. I know that you love me. I know that you care about me. So you're going to, even if I don't like it, you're telling me out of love. You're telling me because you see something that can be better about me. That's my mindset, is to keep a positive, open mind to receiving what they're saying, because I do want to keep us in a growing relationship.
So good.
You know?
Yeah.
So, I've seen couples go through the cheating and the infidelity. Some of them made it through and some of them did not. All the things that we shared with you all today, we know that it is a lot of work. If you're going to make a commitment to be with someone, be committed.
Yeah.
Do the work. Find out before you get into a relationship about yourself. Know who you are and where you are, and be honest with that. Know if you're a person that is not ready to commit to one person, don't get in a relationship where you know you're not ready to be in one.
So important.
That's the bottom line. I think people sometimes are excited about the fact or the act of having someone, but it is bigger than that.
Exactly.
You know, you have someone's heart that you're caring for, and their needs and their concerns. And so being in a relationship, you want to be concerned about all that going in and knowing I'm ready to be concerned about one person.
Yeah. Just one.
Just one. Oh no.
Yeah. That's it.
So what are you okay with, daughter?
That's all. I'm okay with looking forward to having that Christ-centered relationship.
Yeah.
Of knowing that I will be secure in my relationship and won't have to even worry about infidelity. Now, I'm still making known, don't play with me.
Don't play with her.
But I don't want to have to worry about it, and I don't have to want to question my future husband because I know he is centered in Christ.
That's beautiful. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with knowing that I will fight over my husband.
Period. Don't play.
So yeah. So Chyna, how do the people stay connected to us?
So y'all can come and see us every Wednesday at 9 a.m. on YouTube. You can listen in on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Y'all can also go buy her book on TitiaOwensBooks.square.site, and it's also going to be in the link. Not in the link, in the description, and it's going to be right here. I'm going to put it right here for y'all to know where to go. And also on Barnes & Nobles, you can search up the name.
How to Get Rid of a Man.
Yes, but you should also follow us on social media, on TikTok, The OK Den Show, and on Instagram, The OK Den Show. Let us know how y'all feel about cheating, and if y'all dealt with it or experienced it, or if you were the cheater. Just let us know how it affected you all, and just make sure y'all liking, commenting, and subscribing
to the OK Den Show.
Period.
Well, until the next time.
Okay then. Bye then.